coaches, Thomas here from MyCoach Ai, and in this video I want to talk about transferring over from another coaching platform, another coaching software onto MyCoach Ai, because there's often a lot of things that can be associated to that, a lot of work potentially associated to it, whether that be actually learning the new system or transferring over files and videos and programs, or maybe even transferring things over like client data, progress pictures, XYZ. And this video is kind of about that because it's often viewed as a really daunting task. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it is not a lot of work, because it can absolutely be, especially if you don't do it in the recommended way or the not so efficient way. Because trust me, there is good and bad ways to go about transferring over content, building out a new system, and specifically on that part of transferring over client data and content is what I want to make this video on, to make sure that you don't spend more time on it than needed, that you do it as efficiently as possible, kind of help you build this bridge. Because many people have had to do it before. It can be a little bit of work. The good thing is we only do it once manually, and then we are good to go. Now, I wish I could tell you that we have, a certain bridge that from Trainerize, you can simply click import inside of MyCoach Ai and take over workouts. But obviously, this is not generally how it works with software in general between these companies. So we do have to do a lot of these things manually, but I want to make sure you understand the best way to go about it. Okay, let's start with transferring over content. And then we'll get into transferring over client data as well, a really important point. But first of all, on transfer over content, because of course, in MyCoach Ai, you have your libraries, you have your workouts, videos, files, everything like that, which has a lot of content in them already, but you may want to add your own. If you have been on another platform and shot your own videos there, added some custom exercises there, maybe have some PDFs, of course, you want to have those inside of the MyCoach Ai platform. And what I recommend doing, first of all, is really asking yourself, what do I need to get onto this new platform? Instead of just mindlessly starting to dump everything that you have on there into MyCoach Ai, it can be a really good moment to kind of clean house making this transfer. Right? So go over your content pieces and see if you still need everything that was uploaded there, if maybe a couple things are a bit older or left out or can just be cleaned up in general, and go get the content specifically that you need in this new system, right? That you actually are going to need right away with clients. And the way I recommend doing that is not content piece by content piece, downloading it and then uploading it here in MyCoach Ai. I actually recommend first preparing all of your resources. That means go make a quick notes with all of the links to YouTube videos that you link to in your custom exercises, right? Go make a Google Drive with all of your PDFs and different files. Go make a list of all of the different videos and make sure you have the files downloaded onto your computer. These type of things will really help you first download everything, for example, from your old coaching platform, have everything on your computer ready to go. And now you can start transferring things over really easily, especially when it comes to content, right? The thing is that you can queue up content pieces inside of MyCoach Ai. So the good thing about having a full list and having everything downloaded neatly in a folder on your computer to then upload to MyCoach Ai is that's going to make it much easier to do, consecutive uploading, multiple videos at the same time. They can go over to your files while videos are still uploading, start queuing in some of those, and that will make it a lot quicker and easier overall to get all of this content inside of MyCoach Ai. But again, don't just go do it from a certain tab, go piece by piece. Get everything that you need and absolutely want to have inside of MyCoach Ai. First, go download that, make a list of the links, go get it in folders, and then do the uploading process manually all at once. Definitely a lot quicker. Also, on the order on which to go. Start from the bottom of this library section and kind of work your way up, because what we want to do at the end is do things like transfer over workouts and even work on things like programs if we're going to fully copy those over. In the very beginning, you want to work with the foundational blocks that are going to be part of those workouts and programs, for example, right? And even meal plans. So obviously, you're not going to start building and transferring over workouts unless you've already brought over your exercise selection, right? Because that is what you need in order to build that workout. So kind of start from the bottoms. First, add things like individual ingredients or meals, individual exercises, files, and videos, and then start building those into the final templates that they need to be for your clients, okay? So that's the way I recommend doing it. Get everything in one place though. Don't do it piece by piece. Okay. Now, next on the client data. Now, this is also a really interesting one because especially if you have a lot of clients and maybe clients that have been with you for a very long time, there can be a ton of data that you could potentially transfer over. And of course, inside of MyCoach AI, we do have very extensive metrics to work with. So you can actually transfer these things over, whether that be progress pictures or numbers, percentages, health metrics, habits, whatever it may be. But very important to note that how you actually upload them and make sure that everything is taken over differs a little bit in the type of metric. Now, I'll explain what that means. But first, when it comes to these metrics, what you don't want to do is take every single metric that was ever recorded from that client and upload it, right? Let's just be honest. When it comes to their bench press that they've done 100 different times, we don't need to know what 6 months ago set number 2 of that one workout was on the bench press. No, we need to know general numbers so we can track progress from here inside of MyCoach AI. So consider doing that. Consider just taking certain data points that you need and transferring those over, and not everything that you know about clients. Can massively cut down the time on spent on making this into MyCoach AI. Give you an example. If someone's doing their weight, stepping on the scale 3 times a week, and they've been with my coaching for a year, that's like 1,000 weight metrics that I have, right? It's not needed to have all of those uploaded. What I can make sure is that I have the very last metric for the last time they stepped on the scale. Probably, of course, their beginning metric when they first stepped on the scale when they came on to my coaching, and maybe certain checkpoints in between, maybe once per check-in or once a month, whatever it may be. But limit those metrics so you don't endlessly spend things uploading, and it still gives you very accurate averages. Okay, so definitely do that. Now, while we're on that topic, back to what I was saying before about the fact that different metrics should be uploaded in different ways. And some of them are very, very easy and simple to do, especially, I'll give you a quick example here of weight, right? Because certain metrics like this, usually the ones that have just a certain number input, it is very easy to go into the metric section, look up the progress metric, go to view full history, and then what we see is next to the history button, there's actually an option right here to add history. And this just literally allows us to pop in a date and an entry point, a number for it, and that's all we have to do, right? When we do this, we can just have this page open, have the weight of your client on a different tab at the very top, right, from your previous coaching software, your spreadsheet, whatever it may be, and fill in those important numbers. Do quickly through here, just add the history, and you're done. This is super simple, okay? Works a little bit different for some other metrics. For example, progress pictures, progress photos do not have the ability to do it in the same way, adding history. What you will have to do is add them to the pass onto client schedules and then complete them from your client preview side. It's a little bit more complicated, but again, I would take the same method here of just taking in certain progress pictures of certain important moments. So what that may look like is that you go into the past here, say it was from 2 weeks ago, a progress picture. I can simply go 2 weeks back from here on the schedule for that client, go into that past day and add a progress metric. I can now just simply select something like a front photo. And then when I save that day, I now have the ability to go through my preview interface, scroll back on the client schedule, and from the client side, upload that picture as a progress picture. This way, it will 100% be uploaded. It will be labeled with the right date. That is the main thing that we are trying to reach here. And then with that, have it saved in our metrics section. So a little bit more of a workaround, but still, obviously, something you do only once and then you are good to go. Take a limited amount of data points and you will be all right. Now, of course, things like the weights and other metrics are much easier to transfer over. And that's the general idea of it on both the content side and the client data side. So make sure that you have your resource organized, that you have access to the platform that you were previously on. Make sure you don't take over all of the information needed, but just really take the essentials, especially when it comes to data tracking and all of the different data points that you may have. Keep in mind to keep things in a nice order, have things organized, especially with your content, and go to upload that so you can queue it up very easily. And lastly, when it comes to transferring over client items, make sure you understand what type of metric it is that you're transferring over so that you know the correct way to do it. Couple things to take into account. I know this project can seem a little bit daunting if you're just getting into the process of transferring things over to MyCoach AI, but we are here to help. Please come chat with us to find the best ways to go about it what the best way to go about it is. And we're super happy to take a look along with you. But that is pretty much what you should keep in mind when transferring things over. And I hope that helps. See you in the next one.